Good evening to all of you, and thank you for having me here. After a long day, when you are about to wind up, here comes another speaker talking about NBFCs. I really envy my position here. So I'm going to keep it, one of the things about these speeches is either you got to be really good at speaking or you got to keep it short. So I'll keep it short. I've been asked to talk about NBFCs. NBFCs have actually stayed fairly resilient over the course of the last few decades. They are the pillar of the credit ecosystem in the country. And after several challenges that NBFCs have gone through over the last few years, their growth seems to be back on charts. NBFCs are an important cog in the credit delivery system in the country. They are the ones that provide the last mile connectivity. And if you look at the performance of most NBFCs over the last couple of years, they seem to be better positioned on all parameters, whether you talk about growth, profitability, or quality. NBFCs have also demonstrated a fair bit of resilience in trying to manage their balance sheets with the thinning margins. We'll talk about a bit about competition in the coming slides. They've fairly stayed resilient, thanks to the credit quality that has actually helped them stay the course despite the margins thinning. Competition from banks is not new. Rising interest rates is not new either. And, amidst all of these things, NBFCs have found an innovative streak to stay alive. Increased credit provisioning has helped NBFCs to keep their net worth intact. While banks are their allies in the funding side of things on the liabilities, banks are also the fierce competition that we as NBFCs come across. But the financial system is such that there is a play for all of us. So it is not that the banks are coming into the NBFCs territories. Banks were largely present in the large metro towns. NBFCs found tier 2. Banks moved into tier 3, NBFCs found tier 3 and 4. And when banks push you from tier 3, NBFCs will find new territories. I'll just give you a quick snapshot of some of the sectors that NBFCs operate in. Housing finance, the largest pie amongst the retail business. It's actually it's one of the fastest growing retail businesses amidst the NBFCs, and it's also at an inflection point. There are structural factors that play for HFCs because of the risk versus yield equation that they are uniquely present in. Obviously, the housing finance part, the home finance part of their business is under significant threat from the banks in terms of margins. The LAP book continues to grow very well, but there are obviously regulatory challenges on how much LAP can you book in a housing finance company. But housing finance, the banks are really closing in on the retail housing finance business, pushing HFCs to find newer and better alternatives and use technology as a pseudo for cutting costs. Vehicle finance is the second largest pie. Again, there is intense competition from the banks. Banks have actually the largest financier of new commercial vehicles today, pushing NBFCs to take a look at the second-hand vehicle financing, car financing, or even used car financing, etc. But the commercial vehicle business is a cyclical play. Again, post-COVID, this business has also shown a fair bit of resilience and growth. A lot of this means that digital lending is something that we need to adapt ourselves to. It's no longer an option. The panel just concluded also spoke about this. no longer is digital and nice to have. It's something that's now a hygiene factor. A couple of things like data availability. Certainly, Aadhaar has made digital adoption quite faster. There are certainly a couple of things that we need to watch out for in terms of monitoring. The evolving regulation on the digital space, makes you a bit nervous, because there are new sets of regulations that keep coming in, and also the data privacy issues that surround the space. So just to recap, on the NBFCs, there are large tailwinds for growth. Macros are certainly in favor of credit growth in this part of the segment. Balance sheets provide them the uh, cushion to continue to grow, and this is also broad-based their portfolios. And with improving asset quality, profitability can only look up. But there are also a couple of things that we need to look out for from an NBFC perspective, or from a financial system perspective. Is there are a few things that can go wrong. It's all good when you hear about the global stories about how things are all going well, but we've seen all of these things. If you've been long enough in the NBFC space, we've seen cycles of this repeating. Greed certainly takes over at a point when things are all going well and people want to push the boundaries. And then comes growth at all costs. There are certain governance issues that have cropped up in the past that has set us back as an industry. So that's something that we need to watch out for. That's not to say that these are things that are in the annual, but certainly the past has taught us that we need to keep watching out for some of these things in order for us to continue to grow faster. So thank you, and have a good day.